Katie Ellsworth here from Lake Country Soccer and Southwest Missouri Rush. And today we're talking to Scott Zimmerman, who is a coach for Southwest Missouri Rush. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Katie.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
We're great here too.
Good.
Hey, I have some questions for you just so that everyone gets to know you a little bit better. And the first question is, how long have you been involved in soccer?
It's getting longer every year. I've been a coach both here and other places for coming up on 20 years here pretty quickly. I got involved. I think I got involved for the same reason a lot of people do, because their kids were playing and they saw an opportunity to maybe step in and give some help to in a situation where maybe things weren't going as well as they could. And so one thing led to another, and I had, quite a bit of playing experience, and remembered how much I loved the game and wanted to be around my kids while they were playing, and soon got deeper and deeper into the coaching part, and it blended really nicely with my professional life. I'm on the faculty at Missouri State. And so my teaching and my research experience, I think, kind of blended really nicely with my coaching and my new role there. And so, as I did with lots of things, as I got to know them, I studied and I talked to really knowledgeable people, and I was really lucky to be mentored by some really talented people, both here and other places, and had an opportunity to do some development and some of the U.S. Soccer and United Soccer coaches learning programs, and here I am doing the best I can to try to serve kids.
Right, that sounds awesome. Now, you guys where did you live before Springfield?
We moved down here from a little town in western Wisconsin, Menominee, Wisconsin. I did a little bit of recreational youth coaching up there with mostly my kids, but they had quite a small program up there, and so I got involved there.
Great. Okay. So, what about Rush made you want to get involved?
So I think we've got a pretty unique soccer community here. The culture for sports, I think, like a lot of communities, is a little disjointed. I think especially for our market, we've had a history of having lots and lots of different teams and lots of maybe parents think about it as having more choices, but I think the challenge has been that it ends up spreading kids out across a lot of different teams, a lot of different coaches and coaching styles. And my fear has been that has really had a negative impact on the kind of development that we can provide for players in our community. And so I'm excited about Rush because it brings together two of the bigger clubs in town, along with some of the smaller organizations in our area. And it gives us a chance then to put kids in ideal situations given their level of commitment and their current ability, and allows them to play and train at a level that's likely to influence their development more positively than either being the best on a team and not consistently being challenged, or being a little bit behind the rest of the group and falling further behind because the training just doesn't suit their current needs. So I think as you bring more and more players into a group, it allows some stratification and allows players to select too what kind of playing allows them to achieve their goals, whether it's just wanting to get out and wear the uniform and enjoy themselves with no real long-term goals in mind, or those kids who are coming to the game because they love it and they see a long-term future in it as far as college, or even aspire to play professionally.
Mm-hmm. So Rush has so many different programs. What are some of the programs that impress you the most?
I really like the way they've identified the needs of different kids. There's no cookie cutter there. It's a child and their parents can make choices based upon what's right for them, or it's what's right for their family situation. And I think it even goes far beyond that. We are going to be focused, and I know Rush has long been focused not just on developing players, but also developing coaches and developing administrators. And so there are a number of programs that, at least from a parent's perspective, are going to seem like they're behind the scenes, but from a coach's perspective, there's a lot that they're offering that will help us grow in the game and allow us to serve kids that much better.
Mm-hmm. So looking at player development, what do you think are the key factors in player development, which is a huge focus for us?
Right. The phrase gets tossed around a lot. It's sort of it's the catch-all for almost every club. It's a nice marketing phrase, but I think if you're truly going to believe in player development as a club, you really have to focus on each individual player and make decisions with those players based on what's best for them, not necessarily what's best for the team, the club, or the coach. And I think that gets lost too many times. And again, I think that's one of the advantages of bringing a larger group of kids together to participate and play. We don't have to roster a child on a particular team just to fill out numbers. We can make sure that we're putting kids in the right position, both in a training environment as well as in a game playing environment, so that they're being challenged consistently, challenged to grow, challenged to think about the game differently, challenged to even think about themselves perhaps differently. And they're also going to have some success. And so, like I alluded to earlier, we're not going to be in a position where we have to roster a player on a team just to get to the right numbers to play. We're going to be able to move kids around as they improve, as they grow, as they get into puberty and learn how their bodies are going to function as they get bigger and stronger. We're going to be able to challenge them at the appropriate level to make sure that that they have all the opportunities that they want to grow in the game.
Great. Thanks, Scott. What are the strengths that you feel you bring to Southwest Missouri Rush?
Yeah, I think I think those are the kinds of questions that are really interesting and important to ask. I don't think we spend enough time reflecting upon our strengths and weaknesses. And like I said earlier, one of the things I love about coaching is how it allows me to bring my professional interests into an environment to serve kids. And so as somebody who's been an educator for quite a while now, and also somebody whose background is in exercise and sports science, it's fun to bring those things to not just a training environment, but to talk with other coaches and talk with directors about the kinds of things that are important for developing athletes, things like recovery time and how important it is not to have multiple intense training sessions back to back to back, or how critical it is that players, for example, stay out of hot tubs because of what it does to the inflammatory process in the muscles after a game. I think those, from a sort of practical aspect, those things I think can be helpful in the club setting. I also think I have developed over this long time I've been coaching the recognition that, again, it really is about me serving the players. It's not so much about me. It's certainly not about our win-loss record. It's really about, am I putting kids in the right place to help them grow in the game? And it's not just their ability to play. It's because the player you have today is not going to be, if you're doing it right, they're not going to be the player you're going to be working with a month from now or 6 months from now or a year from now. Though there should be steady progress, and it should show up not just in their playing ability, their technical ability, as we call it. It should show up in their ability to socialize. It should show up in their ability to manage their emotions in a pressure setting. It should show up in their ability to communicate with others, not just their teammates, but with other adults, their coaches, and even their composure and their behavior away from the soccer pitch. It's the way U.S. soccer talks about player development and the 6 key qualities, I think is a great place to start. Helping players improve in their decision making, their awareness of the game, their initiative, which is their ability to sort of anticipate and impose themselves into a game situation, their focus, their ability to stay away from distractions, and to play in a competitive way. Certainly their technical ability, which most coaches do a pretty good job focusing on. How do we touch the ball? What surface of the shoe? What does a good ball strike look like? Where are our hips? Those kinds of technical aspects. And then the physical ability. Am I strong enough? Am I fast enough? Am I agile enough? Am I quick enough? And then finally, I think the one that sometimes overlaps or flows into the rest of their life, the sense of responsibility. This is about more than me as a player. It's about me and serving my team, me making choices that ensure that I'm prepared for the next training session so I don't let my team down, that sense of accountability. And so I think looking at those 6 characteristics of a player, and making sure that the plan you put in place for a team, for a season, for a year, for the period of time you have responsibility for them, I think it's critical that each of those six things, is part of the plan.
Right. Well, Scott, I want to thank you for talking with me. We're really, really happy to have you on board and can't wait to get going.
I appreciate that, Katie. Thanks very much for the time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.